So we'll get started, but yeah, basically now. But it's great to see that there's people listening in from all over the place, and yeah, I think we're all pretty excited about this session to find out more about what you're doing and your business and how you run everything behind the scenes. And I think also because your business, you have a lot of different aspects to it in terms of there's the Reiki practice and the herbal product business side of things, and then what you're doing at the moment as well with the Vigil Candles and everything. So it's all like there's a lot of exciting stuff to cover.
It is multifaceted for sure. There's always a lot going on with me and my business. If we're getting started, I can just tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name is Ja'Mecha. I'm in a small town outside of Texas, Dallas, Texas. And I grew up in Dallas. I joined the military at 18. I was a medic for a while. And then when I got out, I traveled to other states and lived, and then trying to figure out what to do. And I learned about Reiki. I had my first few Reiki sessions, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Me learning the energy part of healing, because I know the medical part. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is whatever. And then after a really bad breakup, I was trying to find not only myself, but just how to help others. And that's when I started started learning about Reiki. I started learning about Reiki. It'll be 3 years on the 10th, which is tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow will be my 3-year anniversary of my first level 1 Reiki class. So I'm pretty excited about that. And from there, I honestly ended up going and checking myself into a hospital because the breakup was still so bad that I didn't know how to cope. So one of my coping mechanisms to learn was I like working with my hands. And that is how my product business, herb business, started growing, was actually through therapy. And it helps me till this day to keep me calm, along with being a Reiki master. So yeah, that's the backstory of my business.
Wow. I think that's really powerful. I think also because like it's come from that your personal journey of that need, and then following that need, and then eventually getting to that point where you're ready to share that energy with others as well. Like it kind of moves up in steps from there, like that personal journey, and then that branching out that side of things as well. So yes, okay, go.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so when you you were going through this like tough time personally, and then got to that, I guess, that personal journey of your own, at what point did you kind of feel like you were ready to share that with others, and how did that process start?
Oh, to be honest, a friend of mine convinced me to go to a market and to sell my products and to do my Reiki, because if it wasn't for her, I would still be at home doing personal Reiki and thinking about healing like my family, and that's it. So I thank my friend Leah to get me going. She got me going. She's like, your stuff is amazing. It's good, because I was making soap and I was just like, okay, here you go. And I was just handing it out to friends because it was helping me. So honestly, if it wasn't for her, I probably would not be in business where I am today.
And what is the time frame of like how this all happened? Like, and I think that's really a good point that you make as well, having that support of the family or friends that kind of push you up and go along as you go. Like that's so important. But like, how did that? How long has it been since you started, and where you've gone?
Almost the same amount of time. It took about 4 months. I started Reiki in June. My first market was in October. Right. So it didn't take that long, but when you're going through personal trauma and when you're going through different stages of your life, it seems forever. So mathematically speaking, in times and dates, it took about 4 months. But spiritually and emotionally, it felt like a year. Yeah. So much of debating, am I ready? Is this okay? Do I really need to do this? Am I okay with this? Is this my passion? Is this so it was a lot of that going back and forth before I finally, I guess, manned up or woman up and was like, okay, this is me, this is what I'm doing. And that took that was 2017. I quit my job in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So it took
Wow.
about a year before I was just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. What was your inventory like for your first market trip? Oh, I had maybe 3 of everything at max, like 5. And I had bath salts. I had that in 2 different fragrances. And with herbals in there to coordinate with the healing. I had beard oil, coffee scrub, and soap. That's it. That's all I had. And I had maybe 4 or 5 of each of those, and that was it. And I prayed and I hoped it was like, well, here I am.
Yeah. I love that. Like, I think the most important thing is that, like, you just got out there and did it. Like, you weren't sure if you were ready, but you did it. You brought your soaps, you brought your, like, what you had, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of offered it. Like, that's and to see what the response is, and that takes guts, like you were saying, like, you man or womaned up and you did it. But like, you have to do it to get it
Mm-hmm.
out there, and that shows, like, you tried in 2017 and like 4 months to like get it out there, and then eventually were able to quit your job and go into this full time, which is like a huge milestone and really exciting. So like, how did that feel to like actually get to that point?
Scary. It
Yeah.
was a leap of faith. It was a big, big, big leap of faith. If it wasn't for my friends and some of my support, I would probably still be in a call center and having anxiety attacks and all that. I honestly, where my profits are now compared to when I quit was not even as much as I make with like proceeds and things like that I make now. Nowhere near. It was several days where I was like, I should go back to work. Why did I do this? Nobody really wants this. People are barely messaging for healing. I'll get like interest and nobody's following through. And I saw somebody ask really quickly about the LLC. I had got my LLC business cards. I was buying supplies. I couldn't buy in bulk at the time because I am a disabled veteran. So at the time I was just living off of my VA disability and what money I can scrounge around doing markets. It was just like I had got all these things and I had to continuously go to local craft stores, which is more expensive because I was running out and the sales were increasing, but I couldn't keep up with the demand because I had to pay bills too. So it was a year of, it's been a while, a year of like up and down, like I should quit this and go back to work. Nobody really wants this. A lot of imposter syndrome, like I shouldn't be here. To have my friends and family support me and say, Ja'Mecha, this is your calling. Stop. If I could be frank, stop bitching. Sorry. Hopefully I did not offend anyone, but to get me to stop, they was like, this is your thing. And it took a while to know and comprehend. Like, okay, I know this is my passion, but did I understand it at the time? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah. And yeah, that's true. Like, it does take time to really get to that point of knowing where you're going. Like, it takes a while of floundering around and trying a bit of this and a bit of that, and then
yes.
eventually you work out what works for you, and that's kind of what you keep on doing. That's yeah. And like, at the moment, as far as like your current business, you do actually like practice with clients, and then you also have the herbal product side of things. So how does that kind of work as like, how do you balance those different parts of your business?
For the longest time, I thought them as 2 separate things in my business. Like, I'm a Reiki master and I got my life coaching certification. So I'm a life coach too. So I was like, okay, I'm a Reiki master, I'm a life coach, and I do herbals and I have bath products and my friend set me down and was like, you're one person. You do all of this. It's just different aspects of you, but it's still the same. So all my products are Reiki infused. When I don't have clients, I channel the energy into my products, into my herbal side of my business, into the products, in order to maintain and keep that energy flow. And people who receive my purchase or receive my products feel the energy, and then they come back for a session. So now it's just a continuous circle. If you come for a session and you see my products, you happen to get it, and then, or if you got products and you want to know what having a session for yourself feels like, it just kind of goes back and forth. And I had to learn and understand, while I do different things, it is still me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way for it to work, that cycle of things. Like it is all related, and the people want that service as well as the product. Do you find that people tend to find you and your business as a result of the services or the products more often, like from markets or from like Google searching your practice, or what is the
Products? Definitely products.
Okay.
I am more I'm a face-to-face personality. So if you saw my website and you didn't know me, considering that I am the shitty artisan, you'll see a website and you're like, oh, who is this and why am I here? But when it comes to me being face-to-face, you get the feel of me as a person and the energy I carry and the energy my products carry. And then from there, you're like, okay, let me try this out. Because I learned that some people are hesitant when it comes to the spiritual aspect of products. Most people do not understand what Reiki is. They don't understand what energy healing is. Some people think it is like crazy foo-foo. You're like, oh, she's a weirdo. And I'm like, I wear the widow badge proudly. Yeah, the woo-woo, right? So it takes a while for people to understand that, and I'm happy to be able to give them a platform to understand where it goes, and not everything is woo-woo, woo-woo, but it is just very healing at the end of the day. Even if you do not believe in energy healing, you still, I don't think you're weird. The energy is real. Oh, thank you, Laura. So at the end of the day, you still get herbal bath salts. You still get, I tell my clients the science behind it. Sweet. Sorry, I'm reading the comments as they're popping up. So if you don't believe in all of that, if you don't believe in spirituality, you still have bath salts. You still get body oil. You still get herbal infused other things. And if you can just believe in the herbs and the products that I'm bringing you, then that's good too.
Yeah. Great. So we've got quite a few questions coming in about what's going on, and like I've been keeping track of what's been going on. But so one question people had, like, so do you offer products when people come in for a session? So do you like link that back? You did kind of cover this already, but like so if someone comes for a session with you, do you like automatically recommend a certain product for them, or do you like, how do you go about that process in terms of linking that together?
If someone is coming in for a session, I do a lot of them in my home, so my products are automatically there. I don't even mention them. If they see them, great. What happens is when I'm working on someone and I notice, hey, you're having a lot of back pain because of this emotional reason, and if you can't let that go through that trauma, at least help your back, some Epsom salt is really great. And if you want, I have Reiki infused Epsom salt already here. So I give them the option to do it on their own. But if they are already there, I give them the option to buy here too. And then I'll offer like a discount since you just got a session with me. It's an extra 10% off, or I'll give you $3 off or something like that. Because people like incentives, even though when you price your products, you'll be able to have that leeway to give a discount. I always build in a discount. So if I happen to give a 20% off, it's not something that's cutting so far into my profits that I can't afford to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's really important as far as that pricing, so that you have that flexibility to offer that and be able to make people feel like they're getting a good deal as well. So there was another question around that, like, so do you offer like packages for like, I don't know, a certain number of sessions or something like that? Do you have any packages?
I did in the beginning, but I was unsure about pricing for those. And when, as people can tell, the energy in this conversation, when you're unsure about something, people are unsure. So I do not offer packages currently, but I do say, hey, if you want to get more sessions, I'll offer you a discount. And that way people know that there is something available. But I had it under my website for a 5 sessions. What was it? $575? No, that's too much. It was like $400 and something for like a coaching session. My normal coaching sessions run around $120. So I was knocking off a good 30% or whatever off of it, and nobody was buying it. Or with a Reiki session, since those are $75 for the hour, I was knocking them down to like $60 for the hour. You save, what is that, $85, $75? So you pretty much buy 4, get 1 free, and no one was purchasing those. So I just leave it open as an option when it comes to packages.
Yeah. And so it's more like when you have clients, you can, if they express an interest in ongoing sessions, then you can offer them a discount or something like that. But actual pre-packaged packages, you don't offer at this point. Yeah. So like, and also another kind of, this is a totally different topic, but something that I really would like to cover is around like the challenges that you've come up against throughout your journey as an herbalist, but also like the Reiki practitioner and the whole herbal business thing. Like, so if there are specific challenges that you have faced, I would love to know more about them and kind of how you confronted them or did it later. Let me know.
So when I started my business, I was in Austin, Texas. So it's a little bit more liberal, but even with them being liberal, there we go, and understanding that the woo-woo or, Reiki and hearing those words, there were a lot of people that did not know what it was. And a lot of the markets I were going to were not very diverse. I had the challenge of being like kind of what we're facing right now with the protest, being Black and being spiritual and being articulate. And I do cuss a lot, but I'm saving that from this interview.
We all have our personalities, and that's part of the,
And it's part of the name brand, right? So people kind of expect it, and then I can be authentic within myself.
Yeah, and that's okay, because that attracts those people to your brand. So for people who are watching this, there is the brand, the shitty artisan, and again that kind of attracts the people who are okay with that kind of language, and so that's part of your branding, and it's the way to really speak to the people who are okay with that. So that's okay. You have your audience, and you know that.
Yes, it took me a while. It took me over. Even though if you look at the process of where my business, it looks like it happened really fast, being confident and to say that I'm the shitty artisan and not just, I do bath products and I do Reiki. It took a while. I want to say within the last 8 months, I've finally just been, this is who I am. So this is just a throw out real quick. If you are doing your business and you're unsure, that's okay. Keep going. Because there will be a time where you are sure, where that's who you are and this is what you bring. Back to the story. So being Black and being spiritual and trying to find a place that is predominantly white in Texas, which is a red state, and a whole bunch of other challenges that was hard for me. To own up to who I am spiritually, to know that I do have a place in these markets and in the other place, that means so much, because it made the little shy girl that's in me be a shy woman, but know that I belong. So that was definitely a challenge. Learning the herbs by myself, because I am a self-taught herbalist. So I have the books and I've been reading, and I have a friend that is a DOMA. She's a doctor of Oriental medicine and acupuncture. So she's going through all the classes. So I'll ask her, like, hey, are there interactions? And this is how I've been learning, because we go back to, I quit my job. So official herbalist certification I have not received yet, but that does not make me someone that does not have an herbal business, because I make sure my products are organic. I research where I'm going. I research the Latin name and all that to make sure that what I'm putting in my products is healthy for skin. And that's another challenge, because since I am self-taught, that does take away from certain aspects of the business, because I need time to learn, and I won't bring in a herb unless I know it. So yeah, those are a few of the challenges that I've faced.
Yeah, I like really, the second challenge I can really relate to, that as far as the education and you like needing to set a time, like root time to study, because herbalism is a huge field, and to feel like, just confident and comfortable using the herbs that you have in your products, and really getting that out there, and feeling like you're up to the task of sharing with people. That's a big challenge, and it's something that I think all of us continuously work at a little bit, like just that continuously stepping up to the plate. But and what you said in the beginning about the challenges of I guess the stereotyping and the racism, around especially starting an herbal business as a Black person, the spiritual woo-woo stuff, like it's even more exaggerated than for anyone else. It's and like you were saying, it is kind of, you got to you took it on as part of you, and then that, like, to a certain extent it strengthens your brand, but it's hard to actually to do that. So like, I think that just, it takes such courage, and is something that's very admirable, that you've been able to do what you are doing now.
Thank you. It took a lot to realize that for me, part of the time I'm like, oh well, I just got to do this. I didn't understand the courage that it did take, or the strength that it took. It took a toll on me mentally. Yes, because some days I did cry, like, oh, why am I doing this? Nobody wants this. But then I have to fight myself and be like, no, you're here. You're not an imposter. You can do this. And then I just go do it. One of my favorite saying is, be anxious, but do it anyway. Be scared, but do it. If it's something that you really need to get done and you feel a type of way, still feel that way and do it. And then when you're done, you can see, oh, I shouldn't have been that anxious, or I had nothing to worry about. And you can be proud that you did something even when you felt like you couldn't. And that's just one of the big things I like to tell people. No matter what you do, if you're anxious, be anxious. I don't want you to ever not feel that valid feeling and emotions that you have. Just still do what you have to do. Unless it's debilitating, then definitely don't do it. Stay in bed. If you literally cannot do it, don't do it.
But it is a good point though, like we do have to push through those barriers, and like that's what true courage is like when you're scared but you do it anyway. And that's where the true growth happens as well, when like you're out of your comfort zone, out of that like that normal what you usually do. That's when like great things happen. But it is and we all still get it when we do new things, that like feeling in your stomach that's just nerves. But after, it's so much better.
I have really bad anxiety and depression. Thanks, military. But I had to learn that what I was feeling was just something that your mind is just telling you can't. I'm like, but can you? Yes. Do you feel like doing it? No. But can you do it? Yes. So what are we going to do? We're going to do it. And we're going to be anxious, and we're going to be scared, and we're going to go talk to these people. We're going to go to this market. We're going to make this product, and we're going to believe in ourselves. So I pep talk myself all the time.
Yeah, well, that's like a really important piece. And do you have help, like in terms of specific friends or people that you go to kind of like when you're feeling a little bit anxious about something or that sort of thing? Do you have certain people or places that you go that help you lift yourself up, I guess?
Yes, I like to read. I'm an avid reader. A lot of fiction, so my brain is one why I'm like, oh no, you're making up scenarios. But when I get that way, I have some very close friends I can call, and I can just say, hey, and they're like, what's wrong? Now, I just called, and they're like, no, something's wrong. Go ahead and talk. What is going on? And then I have my parents that support me, and my family and my friends. So if I am ever in a spot where it's too much, and I can say, hey, I just need to vent, they'll let me vent. And then they'll offer advice if I'm acceptable for advice, or they'll just give it to me anyway. They're like, well, if I was you, I'm like, I don't need to hear that right now. I just need you to be my ears right now to make sure I'm not crazy. And if I am thinking outside the box way too much, help rein me in. And they have learned to understand what I need as a person versus what they can give as a person.
Yeah, and I think that is that distinction is really important to understand as well, just in terms of your own wellness and being able to cope in those times as well. That's great. We're getting also, I just wanted to mention for people who are in the attending, if you're writing comments, switch your the like option to all panelists and attendees, because at the moment only we can see your comments, but if you do it to everyone, then everyone can see it as well. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I've got a few people changing it now just so that, because I think it was just us that were seeing the comments.
Yes.
But we were seeing them. There was lots of lovely comments about what a lovely person that you are.
Thank you.
So and another part, like a really big part that I want to cover about today is, again, it's related to the Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on right now, is that you've got like a very interesting initiative that I really want to highlight today in what you're doing and how you're responding to it. But I think it's probably good if you introduce it and let us know kind of where the idea came from, how you're running it, and what's going on there. So do you want to take the reins from here?
Sure. So I was very angry, and this is how this became about. I was very angry and very upset, and I have a group that I run where we talk about spiritual problems and just issues and just anything spiritual. And that day, with everything that happened in the protest, I was just so upset. It was another senseless murder, and no one helped. I didn't even watch the video. I saw the first part and was just like, I couldn't, because of the spiritual and the fact that I'm an empath. I felt too much. So not only navigating my own personal feelings, I had to navigate other people's feelings too. And I wanted to help. With the pandemic still going on, which it is, people. I know y'all know that. Some people seem to forget, but no, it's still there. Like states in Arizona and Utah, they have no ICU beds. They're full. Like the whole state is done. So the pandemic is still strong. And I couldn't go to protests because I have asthma. My mom has asthma, and she's immunocompromised. And I was not going to bring home something that I could potentially, die from, let alone just, being out in the car and car wrecks and all that. Anyways, so I was trying to figure out how to help without going to protest. I post on social media and things like that. And I was like, I don't know, I will make things. And it was off the wall comment. I was like, I'll make a candle. And then people were like, please do. And I was like, really? Yo, okay. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, how can I make this candle? What can I put in it? What do I have? Do I have the supplies to put up the front? And I looked at it and I said, forget it. This is for a good cause. You will reap the benefit later on. That is fine. It's okay. You're not doing this for you. You're doing this for others. So just do it. And I came up with the Vigil Candles, Light to Remember, which is a double entendre, which you light it because, oh, I have a candle, I'm gonna light it, but you're also lighting it to remember other people. So, and to carry on just the energy and flowing towards them. So that's when the Light to Remember, the Visual Candles came about. Those candles, I am donating 80% of the proceeds to Black Lives Matter. The other part is to just recoup, to buy more supplies, to make more candles, honestly. And that's pretty much what it is. They are $25. $20 is going to Black Lives Matter in various organizations. Right now, my first donation for everyone that has purchased the first set of candles is $280, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sending that to NAACP. Now, going forward, I am going to continue carrying the candles because there's constant donations that need to be given. It's not a one-time thing. I originally thought that I was just going to make a case of candles and just be like, oh, I'm done. I did it. That's $240 and I made a donation and I did something. But that's not enough. So I'm going to continue doing something. I am a veteran. So going forward, I'm going to have a I Got Your Six training candle. I saw the word training. So I got your 6 candle for veterans. So I'll donate to the Wounded Warrior in November. The Say Their Name candle proceeds will go to the LGBT community for all the trans members that are being killed, especially Black trans people that die at the hands of violence, and anybody that is trans or gay or lesbian or bisexual, that whole spectrum of people that are often ignored. Like this movement, Black Lives Matters, is not just for Black lives. We know that, yes, we are wanting people to pay attention and see us as people. But we also know that there are other minorities and other groups that aren't being listened to, like the Native Americans and the Hispanics and trans, and we're all ready to, like, let's get the Black people done and in front, and then we're bringing everyone else in. This movement is not going to stop. It's going to bring for all minorities. And I want to donate to a spectrum of charities with these candles because people may have lost people to gang violence. They may have lost people to other things. And it's just, it's for the person to light. Sorry, I just got very passionate, but it's a remembrance candle. And when people go on, and if you believe in the woo-woo and you believe in afterlife, then you know that feeding energy through lighting a candle is very helpful for them. And if you light something to remember, then you're always going to have the good memories right there in front. So yeah.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And like the like you were saying, you can see your passion for it coming through. Like it's it truly is a passion project, but like a passion project with such heart, and so so important, right? Like right now, but not just right now, like always. Right. Like that's part of that. Like now is where this revolution is happening, and it's something that's been a long time like coming, like you're saying, like for many like marginalized groups, but like it's definitely just, it's one murder of many that have just reached a tipping point. And it's there are these people that we need to remember, and it's that energy, it really is. And your passion for the project is evident, I think. And it's just it's a really important thing that you're doing, and it's great that you already had the platform to be able to make it happen. Like you had the shop, and you're able to actually make the candles and get them out there. Like that's great that you were able to make it happen from this idea that you had, or I guess the problem that you had, because you couldn't go to the protests because of COVID and asthma, and so you found a way around to still make a difference from home, but possibly make even a larger impact than attending a protest. So that's yeah.
I agree. And someone wrote something about my frustration, and yes, that is true. I work with my hands. I talk with my hands. I work with my hands. My hands are very important. I heal with my hands. So being able to, those candles, when I am channeling the Reiki, I am thinking about people remembering and being peaceful and calm. So when you light the candle, you won't have that overwhelming rush of emotions to cry it out, but it'll be the good memories, the healing memories. It's the healing remembrance candle to help you heal while you remember, and to be at peace within yourself, even if it's just for a second. Because I know loss, I know what it means to lose someone quickly. And my grandmother has passed 11 years ago, and it's still hard, especially when I see my mom. She doesn't have her mom anymore, and she doesn't get to call her and ask her questions like she used to growing up. So if I can help even just someone who just lost a family member and just remember the good times and be at peace, then I am thankful for that. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, and that helps as well as a part of their grieving process and their coping mechanisms, as a part of the way they interact with the situation and the way they are responding to yeah. And again, it's like it can be on a larger scale, or like a family member, or any type of grief it can be. And that candle, that energy, that lighting, that it shows something. So that's like a beautiful initiative. And it was great how it came about. Like, I think it was just putting that idea out as candles, and then having that initial response, and then going from there. So that's great. And so you've already started making them, and some people, like, you've already done your first batch, is that correct?
Yes, the first set was 16 candles. I only made 12. So I had to make a whole bunch this past week, and I made 2 more cases. So far I have a total of 16 purchased out of 36. So I still have 20 available, and they're sitting. It takes about 10 to 14 days for a candle to sit. If I'm sending them out the first batch day after tomorrow, because I made them 10 days ago, plus shipping gives it a little bit more time, but I will put a note, please burn after. If you can't wait, understandable. Do what you want, is your candle. But if you want the fragrance throw too, because it is a scented candle, then you can wait a little bit. It doesn't hurt, and you can get your candles, right? But even if I end up making them because a lot of people have purchased and I send them out, I will always recommend, please wait 10 to 12 days. So that's why my candle doesn't burn properly. Yes, you have to wait a little bit so the fragrance can set up. And make sure the wick is the right wick for your candle. Sometimes if you get a tunnel, because I'm answering that one question somebody wrote to the panelists, that's why my candle doesn't burn properly. If the wick isn't correct, then it'll tunnel, and you'll have the little funnel down the middle. So you have to make sure the wick is hot enough. And then the hotter flame throws the fragrance a lot better. So anyways.
Yeah. Right, I didn't know that either. So that I haven't actually delved into candle making at all before. So that's new for me to learn there as well. So that's an interesting little thing I wasn't expecting to learn today.
Random knowledge.
And so how, just because I'm interested now, what is the process for making your candles?
Okay, so I use soy wax. I like the way that it looks. Paraffin wax does have the carcinogenics, so it's a personal preference for soy. There's paraffin wax, there's soy wax, there's coconut wax, there's palm. That's a whole bunch of waxes. So do your research. I just pretty much like soy because I like the way it feels. And plus, soy is really great for your skin. If you happen to put it on your skin, it soaks right in. People put soy wax and body butters to make it stable. So I have wax. I use 9-ounce salsa jars. I do not have any candles in the room with me, or I'd show you what they look like. 9-ounce salsa jars, and the wick it's called a CD12. I don't know what they would be somewhere else, but it fits the jar pretty perfect. You want to have your candle melt at 1 inch per hour. So your wick should be heavy enough to stay in 1 inch per hour from the center on the way out. If it gets to the 3-hour mark and it hasn't reached the end of your jar, then your candle wick is not high enough. After I melt down the wax and I pick the fragrances that go into the wax, I channel my Reiki. And during that time, if you're a Reiki master, you understand channeling the energy and having the energy coming in through and out through your hands. And depending on the candle, the energy in it changes. Yes, there's basic Reiki, but what I say is different. For the visual candles, I say, bring them peace, bring them joy, bring them peace, bring them joy. And that's what I'm repeating over and over and over. So they have the joy of what they're remembering, but they're at peace while they're at remembering. So that's that one. I have a candle that is called Bedroom Temptation, and it sounds exactly what it's named for. So that one, I play a lot of intimate music, and I dance when I'm making it. And I'm thinking intimate thoughts, right? So I put a lot of intimate energy in there. I have one for Happy Home, which is for love, peace, and joy in the home. So while yeah, you go, girl. Yes, I'm. If you ever watch me make a candle, you will see me dancing. My mom sees me dancing in the kitchen all the time. And she's like, "What are you making?" I was like, "What music am I playing?" And then the Happy Home, like, I'll laugh when I make the Happy Home because I want to feel the joy to put it in the candle. So I want to make sure when I'm making the candle that I feel the joy. I have one that's called Release That Shit. It's about releasing the trapped emotions within your body when you light the candle. Like if you're going through a difficult time or you have patterns that you're trying to release, then light that candle, and it comes with crystals. And yay, I am making magical candles. Sorry, it popped up. So during the Release That Shit candle, it's literally just to release all that stuff, like release it. You don't have to keep it. So when I'm making that candle, I am thinking about release and seeing things like go away. If you've seen the Infinity Wars Avengers movie, how when Thanos snaps his finger, everybody dissipates. Well, when I'm making that candle, I see emotions doing that, or traumas just leaving the body and just turning into nothing. And then I have a connection candle where you meditate for you and yourself. Cigar Secrets is very sexy. It's very smelly, and and it's just what you put into it and what you do when you make your products, people can feel. So if I want them to have a happy, joy, yay candle, then I am going to feel happy and joy and yay. And if I don't feel happy, joy, and yay when I make it, I don't make it. I'll put that around later. So yeah.
But that's actually like a really good point in terms of like that timing your product making for when you have that energy that you can transmit to the product. Because like I know for myself, like in terms of cooking, that like makes a huge, because cooking is something you have to do every day, whether you feel like it or not. But the results of the cooking is like totally different according to whether I like really enjoy it and I'm putting my all into it, or if it's just like not the right day.
Like,
and when it's not the right day, it just doesn't come.
Here's the macaroni and cheese. I don't care. Like,
yeah. And you don't want to be selling the mac and cheese. You want to be selling those like the amazing chef dishes that that you're putting that right energy into. And that's like, so choosing those days that you're ready to make the product and give the energy to your customers is a really important point, I think. And that's great that you do that. Like, I love that you dance while you make your candles, your happy candles, not your sad candles.
Not my sad candles, but my happy candles. Yes. I have to embody it, no matter, even, and that works with my bath salts, my body oils, my body butters. If I do not have the energy, if I am angry, if halfway through I'm making something and my thoughts turn totally different than what I started, then I don't do it. I'll stop. I will walk away from the kitchen and go sit down. Because when I'm flustered, I end up wasting more. I end up dropping things. And since it's just me right now, I don't have like an intern or someone like that. I don't ask. I walk away. And even if when I do potentially get an intern or have a business where I have to hire people, the first thing in your contract is going to say, if you are mad, pissed off, sad, or feeling any range of emotions, leave it at the door. And if you can't leave it at the door, do not touch my products. Do not sell it to people. Do not touch any products on any shelves or in the back office at all. You can go sell books, or just check people out. But if you are in a mood where you're like that, I want to have a quiet room where I'm like, go, sit down, get yourself together, then come back. Because it's all about the energy when it comes to my products. And I refuse to have negative energy anywhere lingering on anything that I make.
Yeah. And like, yeah, everything you're saying is so great. And like all the comments that are coming in, like people are really resonating, and you're giving so much inspiration to people who want to do similar things. Yeah, it's great. But like one particular question that came in was around like, obviously, you have that experience and background in the Reiki. And so do you think that has helped you to kind of channel your energy and to put that into the products? Or have you like, do you think that has helped that process?
So I'll let you guys in on a secret. I haven't told anyone else yet. My friends know. So for the longest time, I thought I was a Reiki master and putting the energy into it. I had a close friend rechannel and relook and say, no, I have to redo your level 2 and level 3. So the energy that I was actually putting in there for the longest time, thinking that it was Reiki energy, was my own personal and use of universal energy. So yes, now I am a fully functioning Reiki master. And I have been channeling Reiki energy, but I have also been channeling universal, like earth energy and things like that, to put into the product. So even if you are not a Reiki master, you can't get the certification. Intent is a big thing when it comes to a spiritual practice. So even if you are, say, a witch or a bruja or somewhere you don't even believe in the occult, but you understand that when you go to the grocery store, you don't pick up the first jar, you pick up the third jar because other people touched it. And I ask people like, why do you do that? They're like, I don't know. I say, see, you have instinct. So, and you have intuition. So you have intent. Just use your intent. At the end of the day, you believe and you know that it's in there, then people will be able to feel it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like that way, yeah, good answer to your question. I'm not going to add any more. You already answered it great. Yeah, like I think yeah, there's just so many different parts that are coming into this. I'm really enjoying this interview and learning so much, and just feeling inspired by everything you're sharing.
Thank you.
So we had a question as well. So what's the difference between those energies? I'm not sure if you explained that already. Do you want to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah. So when I started Reiki, and I will say I am under Usui Reiki, which is the traditional level. There are different Reikis out there. There's Kundalini, Holy Fire, Angel. It's a whole bunch of them, right? So I'm under Usui. And learning that and feeling that energy channel in was different and wonderful and scary because, oh my God, holy shit, my hands are warm. What and then a whole bunch of explosives after later, right? What is this? So I channel within myself. That energy for me feels very warm. When I talk about it, my hands are heating up. Right now, my hands are hot because I've been talking about Reiki all day. So it's kind of activated already. That is very warm. When it comes to earth energy, I feel it differently. I feel Reiki from top down because that's how you're taught. I feel earth energy from bottom up because that's how I pull. I pull through my feet. So that one feels a little bit more grounded versus like flighty and up here because the energy is in different places. So when I pull from the earth, my feet are planted. So I feel rooted and just kind of, I don't want to say so much complete, but I can feel the difference, especially when I channel both of them, because I am kind of stuck because I got energy coming down and out and up and out. So it's like a double pathway. And then my own personal energy is all over the place. So my own personal energy is what you guys are feeling now. That's me. That energy that you feel in that's who I am.
It's great that we can feel your energy, like even virtually. Like, so we're all over the world. I'm in Italy, and I can feel your energy from here. So, like, that's that's great that we can actually get there. And that's yeah, a pretty cool thing that it doesn't even have to be in physical person.
Yes.
I mean, it is stronger in person, but we can still feel it from wherever we are, and that's a cool thing. We had a question as well. So Charmaine asked you if you teach Reiki.
I do. I have 2 students. I'm very proud. I noticed that for me in my business, you have to get a feel of who I am in order to not succeed, but to purchase or to want a service from me. At times and point in my life, I have compared myself to others that have come after me, and now they have like 100 followers, and I only had 2 followers, or like on Instagram, and here they are. They only been out doing like card readings and tarot readings or oracle readings, which I also do, for like 6 months, and now they have 2,000 followers and they got all these appointments. And I had to realize that my energy is different than everyone else's. So the students that come, thanks for the teaching. Would you mind sharing? Okay, can you read that one to me in a second? People that come to me for a reason, because of the energy that I carry. They're going to get a lot of non-nonsense talk from me because I treat people like people, and I will look at you like you're crazy until you actually answer a question. So if I ask someone, why are you doing something? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And I'll just sit there. So why are you doing it? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Okay. So why are you doing it? And stop lying to yourself. And they'll quickly get offended because I call them a liar. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm trying to get you to understand that you are lying to yourself, because your body is now doing this and you're closing yourself off, even though you're talking like you're not. And they're like, okay, well, the reason why I lied is this. I'm like, see, you can do it. So I am very honest and very blunt but truthful. And I do my best to respect the person, and I read their body and their energy to see if anything that I said may be offensive, and I will rephrase. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that's like, this is all really interesting because I don't have a strong background personally in Reiki, and so it's quite interesting for me learning about all of this energy stuff and how it all works and how you use it as a part of healing. And it sounds like other people are interested as well. So there was the question that you asked me to bring up again later was, do you have any tips for energy shields, energy protection, and energy replenishing, or like after you feel drained?
I think about things that make me happy. Now, here's the thing about that. What you think makes you happy may not also be the case, may not be strong enough to make a shield. Like, I love pizza. I love pizza. Like, it hurt my heart when I found out that Pizza Hut was a supporter of someone that I do not believe in, because Pizza Hut is my favorite. But still, at the end of the day, I love pizza. So if I take the feeling of eating pizza, or just somebody is like, hey, I got you pizza, how it makes me feel, that happiness, like, oh, you got me pizza, like you thought about me and you bought my favorite food, like, yes, that energy, I use that to rebuild my shields. I use those things for, making sure that what I am doing replenishes me. Also, I love nachos. So if I don't feel happy about pizza that day, I'm like, ooh, nachos with meat and cheese. And then I can just ask them how, like, I would do that. So as I'm thinking about my favorite meal, each piece is a layer to the shield. Now, I love cabbage, but I don't love cabbage enough to make me happy. So I would never choose things like that. So when it comes to things that make you happy, it's those things that will continuously give you joy and make you feel, just the thought of it makes you feel happy. If it's things you love, but like, I like gummy candy, but that's not enough to make me happy, then that shield is not going to work. And then to replenish, I kind of just go sit out in the energy of the earth and just give what I can and say, hey, and this is me, this is how I speak. I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, Earth, I don't have anything left. Can you help me? Or I just need a little bit. Can you just give me a little bit of energy? Please, thank you. Right? I'm very appreciative. It's just my words may not to other people hear that, but it's the intent behind it. It's me saying, hey, I need help. Can you please help me? I am drained. I have nothing left. I would love to have some energy because you provided for me. I've said all that in that little, hey, I need help. Like, I need some energy. I gotta go do something. Can you please assist me? And then at the end of the day, I will talk. I will make sure that if I just ask the earth for help and energy and I see some trash on the ground, I'm gonna pick it up as my way of saying thank you. You learn what you can give and what you can receive and how you can give.
Yeah. It's that acknowledgement and like, seeking that help, that energy, and then and receiving and giving back as well. It's all that, like, that cycle of passing stuff on, which is great. And I can see how that would be helpful as well, like, because sometimes when you are in that period of down, and taking that energy off of you, like, and focusing on the rubbish and doing something, and as part of that gratitude, it lifts your spirits, and that's that makes a lot of sense. I can see how that really would help.
You have a garden, don't you?
Yes.
Do you have a garden?
Yes.
So you give for energy, since we're talking about energy exchange, I could just feel you get your energy when your hands are in the dirt. Mm-hmm. You're weed eating, you're taking care of your plants. So your energy exchange is happening when you're in your garden, even if you don't realize it. Because at the end of you tending your garden, you may feel but you feel joyous. Like, it's a good, like, I am drained, but I am happy. So that's just what I get from you. Sorry.
Yeah. That's great. But like, it is, it's because like for me, being outside and in general, it's just so grounding, and I really need that, especially because of my work is on the computer. I need to get outside and really get your hands into it, like you were saying. It's the I also talk with my hands, as you can see. Yes. Partly because I live in Italy, but partly because my hands just need to express themselves. Yes. But it's just definitely that energy thing, and we can see how that really does help. We've got some more I had a question from Bernadette. So where did you get your life coaching?
I got my life coaching certification online. Let me let me get you the right address. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
It was very inexpensive, but it's a self-paced class. The questions are very great, and I had friends that allowed me to ask them questions. Matter of fact, the first friend I asked, to like, hey, let me give you like a life coaching section. We got 3 questions in. She was like, I don't like this. And she was like, you're making me think too hard. And I was like, well, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. She said, okay, can we stop?
You have to be ready for it, don't you? Like
I was like, I don't want this life coaching section right now. Like, no.
And while you're looking at that, I'm going to look through the other questions that we've had. So there was a couple from earlier that still haven't been answered. Let me just find.
Okay.
Okay.
It is called, and you can find it on Google, on the internet, or whatever platform you use, Life Coach Training Institute.
Great.
Yep.
And while we're on this, okay, yeah.
Sorry, the guy name, to make sure you have the right one, the founder name is Paul, and I do not want to mess his last name up, but I think it's Daboud. It's D as in David, A as in Apple, B as in boy, D as in David, O as in Oscar, U as in unicorn, B as in boy. So Paul, last name, is the owner of the Life Coach Training Institute. There you go.
Great. And also, I did share the link earlier in the comments. I should share on Facebook as well, but I'm also sharing the link to your Vigil Candles as well, so that because people were asking about that earlier on as well. So if people are interested in getting the Vigil Candles, that would be a great way to support. Yeah,
Thank you.
You're doing. And we'll see if we can round up a few more of these questions that we've got. So I've been keeping track of what people have been asking throughout, because we have missed quite a few different things because there's been so much, so much to discuss today. And that one's done. So someone had a question about like a challenge that they're assuming that you had, I guess, in terms of the COVID situation recently. And so that's assuming that you wouldn't be able to have access to markets and also possibly your clients, your Reiki clients, as much in the last few months. And so how have you been coping with that as as part of your business?
So you're correct. I haven't had face-to-face. I have done distance Reiki, which is providing energy healing at a distance where you're safe in your home. I have a client on Thursday, matter of fact. They found my card at a place I frequent in Austin, and they messaged me. So I had increase in phone calls for those that need it. I upped my social media game because now I actually have the time to pay attention. I updated my website. So a lot of people that have purchased from me in the beginning were those that missed me at markets or found me when I did an online market. And then I've also recently, the Vigil Candles has also sparked purchasing of other things that are on the website. So that's how I've been coping with COVID and things like that without being able to go to a physical market. My website, I made sure to update that and move things around and make it more presentable, because at first it was the last thing I was worried about, because who cares about online sales when I have a market? But now I have more online sales because I don't have a market. And someone in Pennsylvania, I'm sending something off to Pennsylvania, Missouri. I've been to Wyoming now. There's my products. I've made it to New York. There's a purchase with a Vigil Candle going to California. And they all found this through social media, which is kind of amazing in this time. And if you have an Instagram, look at your hashtags that you're using, because that's how people are finding my page. And that's how they are getting to order, because I have my website link in my profile. So you can go straight to my page even if you don't even look at any of the pictures that I have. And another tidbit, you do not have to be Pinterest perfect, which is where Shitty Artisan comes from. Because I tried to make it pretty and me Pinterest nailed it, and I got upset and angry and said, F this stuff. I'm just going to send it out. People are going to buy it, they'll buy it. And it's a philosophy that not everything is correct in life. Not everything is pretty. Not everything is going to be perfection, but it's still going to work. So if all you have is your phone to take pictures, then use your phone. If that's all you have in the meantime, you can always upgrade later.
Yeah. It's about getting it out there and just doing it and seeing what works. And that's, definitely something that has been a common theme throughout your journey, which is,
Yes.
really, well, I think that's really a common theme around most success stories, because you have to get out there and do it when you're scared, like you were saying earlier, and do it before you're ready. Like just actually get it out there and try. It's so important. And so, and again, talking about that, you're attracting the people with your brand because of that. You have a certain style as a part of your brand that's, a little bit unfinished, but getting it out there. Are you intentional about who you try to attract as like your target market, or who your ideal customer is, I guess?
For me, in the beginning, I did. When I focused so much on perfection, nothing worked. I saw someone ask me a couple of times about Etsy versus my website. I was originally on Etsy. I marketed as best as I could. I put it on the back of my business cards. I put it on my Facebook. I put the hashtags in there, and nothing. I had 2 people favor the shop and no purchases. And it was just a constant uphill. So I just stopped going to Etsy. Then I bought my own website. I used the GoDaddy platform because they already have templates before Square became popular and other like Shopify, which I think Shopify is a very easy platform if you do want to go there. I like my website because I've been having it for 2 years now. So it's just how I've been. So yes, I am on my 2nd year of my website, but this is the first time in the last few months that it has so much traffic. So I've had my website for 2 years, and only the last 3 months had I had a lot of traffic, people ordering online. I may have had like 1 or 2 orders at the end of last year, and that was it compared to the ones I'm getting now. So it's personal preference for me for a website. It's just easier, and I don't have to pay individual fees to Etsy. But if you do not have the funds to start out and buy a website and a domain for the year, which is about $200 and something, and I know that is a lot. I am lucky enough to have it fall on when I get my VA disability to pay it. So I'm like, okay, I can pay this now. This is a bill. It's only once a year. Etsy is a good platform because you pay 20 or 30 cents per listing, and some people do very well. So if that is something that you want to do, I say try it. It's the inexpensive route to go. And it's not a bad route because people that I've seen come up do very well with Etsy.
Yeah, I think it's also, Etsy is a good way to test your products or if it's going to work, because it's so easy to get a product listing out there. And like you say, it's 20 cents to put it up there. The main kind of biter for the Etsy is the fees per sale. So it's quite a high transaction fee. And so it does, like, depending on how many products you sell, it ends up being more expensive than doing it on your website eventually. But if you're kind of just selling, a couple of products per month as you're getting started and working out what works and what doesn't, then it's a good way to, like, test the waters and get out there. But then, yeah, I definitely think once you are serious, having your own platform is a lot better. Also because you have more control over everything as well. And you, but
I run my business through here. This is my computer. This is what I put my pictures on. This is my website. I do everything from my phone.
Yeah. Yeah. What platform did you say you use for your website?
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy. So it's on it's on WordPress, or it's actually GoDaddy?
GoDaddy. So it's an actual site. So I bought my domain. My domain is like $20 a year. So that's the website name. That's what the domain is, your website name. And you can search in Google search, and that's free to check if that's something that you want. So you get a domain, and then the actual website is on the server for GoDaddy. And they have all different types of templates. You can go in there and rearrange. It is very user friendly. The hardest thing to know is how to upload a picture. That is the hardest thing. They'll take you to your documents or wherever it is. So I use my phone, so I have to make sure I have it on my Google Drive. So I have to upload to Google Drive, which is an extra step, and then upload to my website. If I'm on the computer, I can just same thing. I send myself a blank email, like it's in a draft, and I'll just attach pictures. And on my website, I have my email pulled up on the computer, and I'll download that way. So that's how I transfer pictures without actually having to hook up anything. I just put it in a blank document and then get the pictures off the blank document on the computer. Yeah. And that's how I do it. It's easy for me. If you are a person that loves the aesthetics of a website, then you may need an extra step. You may need a light box to make sure you have the white background and things like that. And I think light boxes are about $60 for a good one with the LED lights to make it bright to take a good picture. And so it's an investment, but you have better pictures than a cell phone camera.
Yeah, I think it's definitely about just working out what your priorities are, whether it's that like you really want it to look nice, or you want the ease, you want it to be like to get it out there like that. And there's that balance as well of being able to do because really you can do quite good quality photos with a phone camera these days. Like the cameras on the phones are not that bad, and you can do quite a lot with it. And then it is easy just to email it to yourself and like put it on your website. That just takes that step out. So that's great. Yeah. Do you do any sort of advertising for your business? That's another question that came in earlier.
I did Facebook posts during COVID, and I saw nothing. And I got yelled at spiritually because that's not how I work as a business. It was me trying to imitate other people that I see, sponsored by, and I make that, I can do this. And that for me and my brand doesn't work. And I still constantly to this day do things that I see, I'm like, I should do that. And then it doesn't work. So then I just wasted money. But for me, my business works best off of word of mouth. Now I am in a group on Facebook. It's more of the woo-woo side, which is Marketplace. So I go and post products and say, hey, I have this available. But that's the only other site besides Instagram and my Facebook page for my business. Other than that, I don't.
Yep. And I think that's actually great. if your business can, if you're getting the business that you need through working with the clients that you already have and the people that they refer to, that's it. You don't need to advertise like that. And like, it's true. Sometimes we do see other people doing things and feel like we should be doing these different parts and things, but we don't need to be everywhere. You need to be where you do your thing well. Yes. And like, if you're good with people, you make those connections, and then those people connect with you and want to connect others to you. That's where you focus on. That's the 80-20 rule. That's where your magic is, and that's what you've got to focus on. So that's good that you worked it out.
It took a while. It's taken the 3 years to realize, but I'm here and I'm happy. So.
That's wonderful. And again, there are different phases in business as well, because you might find in 5 years from now, you've kind of you've reached a new point in your business where you've got a something that works that you can add advertising to that helps that what you already have. But at this point, like, you're just focusing on the people, and that's it. That's fine.
Yes, I agree. Who knows what the future holds?
Oh, yeah.
Something may change. I may have to send out, like you said, those advertisements. And if that's the time to do it, then that's the time to do it.
Yeah. And the testing and seeing how it goes. A couple, do you have time for a few more questions? Because I know, yeah.
Oh, I have nothing else to do today. So
Okay,
I know you have your family. So I am fine. The only thing I have, it is 11 o'clock here in Texas. So my post office doesn't open. They go to lunch at 12. And they open up at 1. Because I live in a small town, so they close for an hour. So as long as I'm done by 1 o'clock and I can go to the post office and drop off the orders that I have, then I'm fine.
Okay, that's great. I live in a small town in Italy, and everything closes for like 4 hours in the middle of the day. So they will have when I first came to Italy, I was like, what? Like, you can't do anything in the afternoon because everything just closes from like 1 until 4. There's nothing because they all go home for lunch.
When I was in the military, I was in Germany for my first 2 years, and we would go on lunch to get things done. They're like, no, we're at lunch. We'll be back at 3. We're like, that's like 3 hours for now. And they're like, that's how we work. And then everything closes at 6.
Yeah, it's a strange, but yeah, at least an hour's not too long. But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's kind of good priorities that it's more like the lifestyle more than the business, but it's an interesting lifestyle to get used to anyway.
Yeah.
So the questions that we had, so there was one from earlier around like kind of the setting up your business and how you got started a little bit. So this was so when you got started with your products and services and practicing them on your own, to creating your own LCC and doing inventory of your products and pricing them, etc. So this is a really big question. So they're wondering when you went from
a hobbyist to a business.
I was wondering when did you go from just buying your products and services and practicing with them on your own to actually creating your LCC? So when did you kind of have that trial period to making it official and creating the LCC? When did you make that decision?
My LLC start was effective about 6 months. February 2018 is when I went from hobbyist to a business. So that took October, November, 6 months. Took about 6 months because I was getting more pick up at my markets on the weekends. So I still had my full-time job, but I had my markets and I was selling very well. So I was like, okay, well, now it's time to get the sales permit. Now it's time to actually, pay taxes and focus on a business model. And at that time, my business model was everyone else's. So that took about, me mimicking other people's business model for about the first year and a half. And that's right around the time where I started being like, hold up, wait, for like, what do I do? So that is how it happened. My product and the pricing, that is, you take what you pay, you divide it by the number of amounts that you use, number of units that come out of what you paid for, like your supplies. There is an app that I use. I think it's called Craft Pricing, but let me double check. Yes, it's called Craft Pricing. It's an app from Android. I don't know if they have it for iPhone. And when you go through it, it'll tell you the amount of supplies that you bought, how many that you end up making. It'll break it down to you, your retail price, and then it asks you your profit margins. Do you want 100% profit? Do you want 50, 100? You can change it however you want it, and it'll tell you your retail amount. So for me, I do about 200% increase. That's because, say, my bath salts, with everything in, I'm making a big quantity. If I am buying 50 jars, that's $50. If I am buying all of that, right? So I just do the times 4, which is 200%. I times it by 4. So that way, when I give out discounts or I knock some off, I'm not hurting my profit margin. I just recently started buying in bulk. So my prices are based on when I was buying smaller quantities, which tend to be more expensive. Now that I'm buying in bulk, I just leave the prices the same. And it still gives you that margin. So instead of me doing a 10% off, I recently did a 20% off, which is more than my friends and family discount of like 15%. So, and then I have incentives when people buy a lot, I give a lot. So I have a loyal client and customer that has been around since I first started. I know when she sees me every few months, she's going to drop at least $100 or something. So when she's there, I will like, here, and I'll give her a free bar of soap or a bottle of salts, and just as my thank you for helping me. And even if you happen to purchase the Vigil candles and things like that, I still give you a thank you, because you didn't have to buy from me, but something led you to, and I'm very appreciative. I'm appreciative every sale, no matter if it's a $5 sale or $100 sale. It's helping me and you're supporting me, and I want to show support for you and to thank you. That's kind of my business model.
Yeah. And again, it's like a reciprocal agreement and supporting each other, that exchange, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, great, good answer. There was another question you've already answered around your own website and Etsy and that sort of thing, but there was another part of this question was so do you have all of, because you have the different facets of your business in terms of the things that you do, is it all under the umbrella brand of the Shitty Artisan, or is there also because you also have like the Willow Peak Wellness, and like how do the different names work together there?
When I started out, I was Willow Peak Wellness. I love willow trees. Weeping willows are my favorite tree, and I love peacocks. So that's where Willow Peak comes from. It's for willow trees and peacocks. And then wellness, because in the beginning, I wanted a wellness store or a spa-like area. So a wellness center. That's why I was the name of Willow Peak Wellness. And then I had it on my products, and I started making soap. So here's how the Shitty Artisan came about. I wanted to make soap from scratch, and this is when I was trying to make the best Pinterest looking soaps, and things wasn't turning out, and I was getting very, very upset. So I had 4 loaves of soaps just sitting around, and I was in the process of moving. I had a market that night, and my mom was assisting me, and she asked, "What do you want to do with this?" And I said, "I don't care, throw the shit away. It doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, I don't care. I have all these products, I don't work hard on the labels, I done bought new jars, like I'm trying to be, a respectable business now, and this looks like shit and I don't want it." So she was like, "Take it and sell it, just get rid of it. Even if you sell it for $1 or $2, you'll make something." So we're there at the market, and she asked me, "What do you want to name it?" Because everything had another name, like sweet sugar scrubs or summertime beard oil or something like that. And I was like, "I don't know. It looks like shit, feels like shit. Name it Shitty Soap." Like, I was just being very dismissive. Like, I don't fucking care. Just do it, right? And she wrote on there, and I was in the middle of doing a reading while she was selling the products. And people were walking by and were like, "Does that say? Come here, look, is that really what that?" Okay, I'm gonna buy it just because it says Shitty Soap. And I was like, okay, whatever. And we pretty much sold out of the box that night. I had about 30 pieces. I came home with like 5 or 6. And it was just like $2 a bar. And they were oblong. Some were like this big. Some were this big. Some were crumbly. People bought it. And I was just like, okay, I'm never making soap again. I don't care. I'll stick with the melt and pour. About 2 months later, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, are you the Shitty Soap lady?" I don't like people standing over me. So first I'm like, excuse you, like, why are you there? And then it registers like, oh yeah, I made that. They're like, that was my favorite soap. The coffee soap is my all-time favorite. I don't like any other soap. Do you have any? And I was like, no, I stopped making it. And they were like, okay, well, if you happen to make it, let me know. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not making soap anymore. It's frustrating. I don't care. Later on that day, that same day, someone else asked me, hey, were you the person that made the shitty soap? And I was like, yeah. And again, I'm in the middle of doing like readings, like tarot cards and oracle readings. So I'm like, you're interrupting a reading, like get away. So I'm like, yeah, I don't make it. Somebody else asked, I may think about it. They're like, okay, well, I'll look for it next time we're here. Because that market was like once a month. I'm like, okay. And then the next month, I still hadn't made it. And I was just like, whatever, that was just a fluke. 2 people asked. And someone else asked, so you're the shitty soap lady, right? Because I love shitty soap. I didn't care that it was crumbly or soft or whatever. I loved it. When are you making more? And I was like, you know what? You're the 3rd person to ask. I'll do another batch. Screw it. I'll just make it. And I did. And it became shitty soap and crappy candles for the rest of the year. And that was all of 2018. So April of 2018 is when I first sold shitty soap. And then I brought it back in like September. So it was that break, like, I'm not ever making soap again. Who cares? And I made it and I was selling it. And Willow Peak Wellness just wasn't fitting the products anymore because the products started to expand more than the Reiki did. And I didn't know what to do. And that's when I was thinking of myself as 2 different entities instead of the same person. I started separating everything out because I really wanted to be a Reiki master. That's what I thought my business was. It was not these products. Like, who cares about products? I'm trying to heal people. And it turned out that my products are what I do and who I am. And the Reiki is the other part of what I do and who I am. It's just that people will see the products first before they come to me for the Reiki. And it took a while. And when I say a while, like a couple of months ago to realize that. Like I realized that this year. And so I was like, okay, well, I need a new name. And since I sell shitty soap, I'm just going to be the shitty artisan. And people are like, why the shitty artisan? I'm like, because nothing in life is ever correct. Nothing in life is ever straight. Things fall apart, but it still works. It may not look pretty, but it still works. And that is what my philosophy of the shitty artisan. So while the parent company is LLC, Willow Peak Wellness LLC, my DBA is the shitty artisan.
Right, so that's kind of get it.
Where that happened.
Yeah. I love that, like the story as well of there was 2 separate people that asked, like, here the shitty shirt soap lady, and then like that kind of is what prompted you to go in and get back into it after 6 months of a break because it was such a disaster the first time round. And then but just getting that prompt from people, and sometimes it comes from like multiple sources, and then you taking that next step, I guess, is great. Another related question to the actual making side of the soaps is, do you use any specific programs to keep inventory of your supplies and also your products?
No, a pen and paper. I go out and look at my garage, and I will post in the group. I'll take a picture of what the garage looks like. So you can see the behind the scenes of everything. I'll just take a picture of what's there. I know what's there because I'm constantly in the kitchen. So I don't keep an inventory. I know that right now with what I have, I can make 4 bars of soap. I can make about 120 bath bombs. I can make about another 20 thing of bath salts. And I can infuse the herbs for my body oil. I know I need a big thing of grapeseed oil to cut the infused oils because it's so much heavy energy in there. And I have enough herbs to make about 40 more bottles of oil. So I know that off the top of my head because I'm constantly there and I'm constantly looking at my supplies every day. my website keeps an inventory of what I have listed and available. So once it's made and I have it on my website, I don't have to look at it anymore because I know the inventory is there. I do keep about 2 of everything I've made not on the website because I know people locally and they're like, hey, can I just send you Cash App or Venmo and I need this, can you send it to me? Because they may not want to go on the website and they have my number, so they just like, hey, can I come pick this up? I'm like, okay. So I keep that inventory out of, but I also know that I have a small little batch of this is not inventory on the website, so I can sell out of this at any time. If someone calls my mom and say, hey, your aunt wants a candle, do you have any available? I know that I don't have to go adjust the inventory on the website because I have one sitting out. So that's how I do my inventory. Eventually, yes, I will need a program. So if you have any recommendations out there, please send them my way for inventory and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, like when you are first getting started, like it's fine to do it like that. You've got your inventory on your website as far as like what's actually available. But yeah, as long as you have some sort of system to know what you've got. Because I know like I've been guilty of accidentally buying supplies twice because I thought I didn't have them. And so like I literally just did that last week. I bought I bought something that I already had, and then I looked through my orders and I was like, oops, I have already bought that. And then I realized I needed to have a better supply inventory system. But yeah, like it can be just a simple spreadsheet to start off with, but there are a couple of good ones. Like I know Soap Maker 3 is one that's like some people use, and Crafty Base is another one. And there's another one that's kind of just getting started at the moment, which is Kerry, and that one is still in beta testing. So it's as in like it's kind of cool because you get to be part of the process as it goes, but like, and it's also there's a period of time that's free. I think it's like 3 months. You can try it out for free as well, which is so that's Kerry is KERRII.com, and then craftybase.com is another common one, and Soap Maker 3. Personally, just what I use is actually Airtable, which is it's a free and this isn't again, like my product side of thing is quite small, so this is maybe a step for someone who isn't totally all in yet but wants something to make sure that they don't do double orders. But that works for me because of it's basically like a spreadsheet that is flexible, so I can categorize stuff and it moves around in a nice way. So it's like I use it for a lot of things, but I use Airtable. But it's not good because it doesn't have a long history of things. So like theoretically for GMPs, you need to have like history of how the inventory's changed and stuff for a certain period of time. But Airtable only has, because it's an online app, it only has like 2 weeks of history on the free plan. So it's not enough for that. So for someone who has like a serious business, it's not a good option. But if you just need something to help with actual inventory and not buying stuff twice, it does work well. So Bernadette's involved in the creation of Kerry, which is and she was saying that the free period has been extended with lot number tracking as well.
Ooh, nice.
So there's a couple of options there. And we did have a clarification about your answer before around the Shitty Artisan and so it's the Shitty Artisan is a DBA under Willow Peak Wellness, where you sell products, and then your Reiki and coaching is also under the Willow Peak Wellness. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So basically you started with that parent brand, but then you have that branding underneath that is the way the products come out, really, I guess.
Yes. Shitty Artisan is all about the products. It's about, there you go. It's all about the products. It's about being who you are at the end of the day without any fakeness, I guess. I don't know, that's not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And DBA is doing business as authentic.
Yes.
Yay, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, doing business as. Another question that we had earlier on was, how do you do your labeling? So here's just a technical question around.
I purchase my labeling currently at Office Depot, and I use the Avery website, avery.com, because they have free templates. Or I'm trying to get away from Amazon because, big name brands. But I am still small enough that I make them myself. I create them and label them in all jars, all myself. I think I will continue doing that even if my business grows, because I can always get on demand, and I don't tend to plan ahead for labels like you see big companies. I know I follow a couple of companies, especially soap making, and they have their labels pre-made because they already know the fragrances and things like that they're going to make. I, on the other hand, go out and look at my inventory, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I only have this fragrance and I need to make soap, and it's the ones I've already made, like lavender. I always have lavender, so I can always make a lavender soap. But it may not look the same every time because energy and intent feels different. So it may be a dark purple one time and a light purple the next time, but it's still lavender. So I am not at the point where I have something in constant, always fragrance to keep a label or pre-order labels in ahead of time. Maybe one day, but I don't know. I like doing it myself because it feels more involved for me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of herbalists who do make products on smaller batches prefer to do it themselves. So there is that flexibility and not having hundreds of labels of something that then you change it and you can't use them anymore or things like that. And another good suggestion that Amanda brought up in the chat was that you can use the Avery templates and actually print them yourself as well. So that's another option if you want to. But yeah, you can get them printed as well, depending on what you want. So Laurie said labeling regulations are confusing to me. That is a huge topic, and we're not going to be able to get into that today. I'm planning on doing a series more in depth on this later on in the year, but
perfect.
Definitely not time for that today in this session. But it's a huge topic as far as the labeling regulations. But yeah, if you are struggling with that, I would recommend going to the FDA website and looking at the regulations there, and then looking at other people's labels as well is another good spot to start, just to see kind of what they're doing and thinking about why they're doing that, because then you can piece the puzzle together and work out what you can do for yours. And do you have insurance for your business? No shame here. It's okay. The insurance is a really it's a tough question for most herbalists.
Yes. Since right now all my tinctures that I make, I'm using myself and my family. They are kind of like, I kind of caveat, hey, this is great for this, but if it doesn't feel well, go to your doctor, right? I don't offer any tinctures at the moment because I need those FDA labels, like you said. And I have to warn people, just because I'm giving you a tincture, for me, for my allergies, since I've been home because of COVID, I still have really bad allergies because I'm allergic to grass and I like being outside. I've been using a tincture of Palo de Arco and holy basil, which are anti-inflammatory, antifungal, anti-coag, like all that, all the antis, which have helped my allergies. But I wouldn't give it to someone else that has severe allergies because, one, I don't know what meds you're on. I don't know the interactions. I don't know all those things. I can ask and I can look up and I can research and I can make sure, but I don't want to take that chance just yet. So my tinctures are a little bit off before I get the some nettle and licorice for antihistamine. I have both of those. Bam. Look, see, I'm learning.
I love this. all helping each other out. So for anyone who's not like, who's watching the replay and doesn't have access to the chat, this is about adding nettles or licorice for the antihistamines.
Because I need to make a new tincture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I know licorice can be, you can only take licorice for 6 weeks, but nettle you can take indefinitely. So I'll definitely add nettle. Licorice, I'll put 6 weeks. I know with licorice, it is one of those things, if you have high blood pressure or edema or things like that, that you can't take. So that's another thing that I've been hesitant about using licorice, because I use that in my anti-anxiety tea blend, which I call Not Today Satan, because compromise the liver. Well, so yeah, so I took it out, but in the beginning I put it in because I know it helps with anxiety, and it was really great. But I was like, ooh, I would constantly have, oh, Not Today Satan. Okay, somebody said to the panelists that Not Today Satan was a great name for my anti-anxiety tea. Best name ever. Yes. So it's just like no, not today, Satan. I ain't got time for this. So it helps with anxiety when you're trying to get on. So do not use licorice if you have edema, high blood pressure, you're immunocompromised, liver problems. Like, so I took that out because I would have to ask those questions at a market, and I couldn't ask those questions right then and there when someone else was looking at salts or soaps and had questions too. But for that blend, it is chamomile green tea. Even though I know green tea has coffee in it, when you work with healing energy, it's about intent. So I ask the herbs when I use them, hey, I know that you have caffeine, but could you please, you have the drinker, feel at peace when they drink you. So I kind of pray over everything I do. So there's chamomile green tea. There's also like 3 other herbs. I'll post it, remind me, and I'll put it in the group for the Not Today Satan blend for you guys that do have the herbs. You can make your own, and I'll do that for you lovely people. So yeah,
wonderful. That sounds great. But cool. Yeah, so many great ideas here. Yeah, it's I think it's great watching what's the responses as well from the chat, both on Zoom and in Facebook as well. So that's great. One final question before we wrap up, I think, is so as far as the Reiki stuff, is it possible to teach that online, or do you think it's something that needs to be done in person?
There are people that do it online. I have yet to do a distance one. My students have been in person. It's about belief, and if I can heal you through distance, I believe I can attune you through distance too, if that is something you want. I also believe that you have to find the right person to do it with. As you heard my story in the beginning, I thought I was a Reiki master. Come to find out, I had to have 2 reattunements from someone else. So Reiki Associated Canada doesn't accept online training for certification. Oh, I did not know that. So do your research. That's what Bernie says. I get my Reiki done online via Zoom. Yes, that is distance healing. That is something that you could do, right? That is something that you could do online. Everyone is different. At the moment, I do not offer it online. It's not that I don't trust that I couldn't do it, but I want you to have that experience in case you have questions. I can't really read your body so much if I have you laying down. The camera can only catch so much, and I can only catch what you're doing so well. And even though I am connected to your energy, I would rather be in person. So if it is just to make sure that I did your treatments online, that's one thing. But to make sure that you are in tuned, I do. Somebody, Bernadette says I do distance training. I can't. It was quick. So it just depends. It really just depends on the person. Will I ever do it? Maybe. I don't want to say no. I tried doing it. Oh, she does distant healing online. Yes, Bernadette. So yeah, it just depends. Maybe one day I have to figure out how to do that on the astral plane or energetically, how to attune. But I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And yeah, like that really has been a theme, that you figure it out. Like you see how it goes, and it, like, it might be the path you want to take, it might not be, but if it is something that you want to pursue, you'll figure it out. You'll put together the pieces and work out what is the way to do it, which is great. So I think now is a great time to round up today's session, but I'd like to open it up and just ask, that we've had so many questions coming in from other people, but is there anything that you want to share as a part of your journey and what you're doing as a part of the City Artisan and Willow Peak Wellness and your journey as an herbalist?
I think I gave everything, but if I could give a word of advice, it's just to keep going. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if something doesn't look right, keep going. My tagline on my website right now is don't expect perfection. So if you get a jar and the label is kind of crooked, well, you're not really worried about the label, you're worried about what's in it. So in your business, and when you're touching your herbs and you're being a part of you following your calling, be true and honest with yourself. And if it comes out perfect, great. If it doesn't, try not to be hard on yourself. I know that is a lesson that we all struggle with because we are our own worst critics. So if it is something that you imagine it doesn't turn out right, try to just be. That's it.
That's wonderful advice. I think it's yeah, and you can feel that it's coming from your heart, and it's something that is just so important. So yeah, thank you so much for everything that you've shared today. Like I really enjoyed it. Like it's just you have a fun way of explaining things, and it's been a fun conversation. I think other people have really enjoyed it as well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey and everything that you're doing. And yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yes, thank you for everyone that's been in there. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to read your comments. I know there are a lot. I don't know if they are going to be there after we end the session, so I may not be able to see them, but I want to say thank you for participating, and thank you for being there and just being here with us.
Yes. I echo all of those statements. And if people do want to get in touch with you, or like, what is the best place for them to follow you on Facebook or Instagram or your website? Can they sign up for your email list? What is the best way for them, or what do you want them to do?
However they feel, honestly. I'll give you my listings. So my website is WPW, so Willow Peak Wellness, WPWtribe.org is my website. Under my Instagram, I have two. I have the Shitty Artisan, straight, just search on Instagram, the Shitty Artisan, it'll pop up. I have a picture of my meditation rollers up there, the herbal infused meditation rollers that I have. And the second one is I am J Dodd, which is it resonating confirmation. Oh, yay, thank you. It's some more things that I'm randomly seeing. It is I am, so like I am is a statement. J is in Juliet, and my last name Dodd, D-O-D-D, so David Oscar David is the second one. And on Facebook, I am under Reiki and Soap or Willow Peak Wellness. So I will post all that in the group. I know I don't post in the group much. I miss your talks because when I roll out of bed, I woke up early for this one. So I roll out of bed and I'm like, I need to go do something. There's a tea talk today. And then it's like 12:50 when I actually get to my phone. I'm like, oh, shit.
Maybe I need to wake up really early one day and we can do one in the evening US time. That it might be a bit easier. But
I am not, I woke up, made sure I was early for this. So I ate breakfast so I have energy. But if you catch me at 10 o'clock on any other day, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? I don't wake up until about 2 in the afternoon. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, because I think because Bernadette is also a member of the Herbal Circle, and she would love to connect with you a bit more because you're both Reiki practitioners and sound like you have similar businesses, so that you'll be a great connection there as well. But yeah. Yeah, so thank you again so much, and we'll stay in touch anyway. But yeah, I just think what you've shared today has been like, yeah, great. I really enjoyed it, but I think everyone who has been on live has enjoyed it, and I'm sure the recording is going to be great too. So thank you once again, and yeah, we'll stay in touch. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the platform.